Any other, thank you. Any other thing, what do you think a tester should do, right? Or what is the role of a tester?
Preparing detailed test cases and test
Okay,
types.
preparing test cases. That is good. That is good. Thank you so much for that. Any other thing?
And also test scripts, test
Uh,
steps.
Okay, test script, test steps. So if I have to ask you a question is, what is the difference between a test case and a test script? Okay, but that's another thing that you need to just Google that out anyway. So, but thank you so much, everyone. So now, talking about introduction to software testing, right? So before you guys came here, right, have you done testing before? I'm going to ask
No,
you quickly. Alex, you said
no,
no. Okay. Ada,
No,
okay. Florence, Florence,
Sorry, I didn't get that.
have you done testing before you joined this program?
No, 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 not at all.
Victor,
no, I've not.
Adebayo.
Yes,
Okay, all right. So I think Mayowa has gone. Okay, all right, that's fine. So, okay, Adebayo said yes. Why did you say yes?
because before coming into the course, I everything I do on the daily basis, from downloading the app, checking out a new website, shopping, I basically realized that I'm an exploratory tester before joining the course.
Thank you so, so much. Thank you so much. And that is what I'm expecting. This guy that said no right now, basically, you will have done testing, to be honest. In fact, even if you are not a tester, you will have done testing before, right? So, for instance, one thing that I tell people, when you wake up in the morning, right, what do you do? So let's make it interactive before we go to when you wake up in the morning, right, you open your eyes, to be honest. I think the first thing that you will do is testing, to be honest, right? You wake up in your eye, in the morning, you open your eyes, you can see, you are scanning, right? So, and you raise your hand, you are able to raise your hand, maybe you open your mouth you can say something. So, and in a sense, your brain is testing all the organs that they are working. You might not be doing writing test script or something like that, but technically what you are doing is testing. It might not be software testing. Do you get it now? So, but you are actually testing that every organ in your body is working. Let's assume that you try to open your eyes, then God forbid it's not opening or you can see. What happens? Let's quickly. What do you think is going to happen?
You raise a book.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's what I'm expecting. You raise a bug, right? But how do you raise it literally, right? In normal sense. So in normal sense, like in normal situation right now, if you cannot see, what do you do? Right.
It's either you self-medicate or you call 999.
Thank you so much. You raise an alarm. So deck and like for instance, so that is you raising a bug anyway. That is you raising an alarm. Something is not working. But how do you know that this is bad? This is not good. How do you know that this is not good? How do you know that? Yeah. How do you establish that? I think I need to raise an alarm. Guys, how do you know? Right. Alex?
If you try every possible means and you're not making any headway, then it's safe to say you need assistance or you need help.
But if you cannot see, right? What of if it's dark in the evening or if there's no light? Do you get it now? How do you know
Oh,
that
okay, yes, yes.
yeah. How do you know that you should be able to see? Right.
Yeah, I get you first try to switch on the light bulb to see if
Okay, cool. So
yes.
technically, there's something that you are expected to see. There's something that you're expected to happen, right? So there's a requirement at the back of your brain that you are validating. Do you get it now? For instance, if you wake up around midnight, right? So, and it's dark, to be honest, you might not fret, but if you wake up in the afternoon and yeah, and you cannot see anything, so you know that something is wrong because you know that afternoon there should be light. But if there's no light and everything is dark, then and there's a big issue, right? The same way for those guys that love cooking, right? So let's say you are married, yeah, you are cooking jollof rice, Nigerian jollof rice, by the way, which is the best jollof rice. So you are cooking jollof rice, and then your spouse come and say, "Let me taste," right? And this person say, "Wow, this jollof rice is nice." How does he know that is it's nice? Do you get it now? There's a requirement that the person has got in his taste bud that is using to test it. And it tasted nice and it's okay. This is nice. Do you get it now? The same way for softwares as well. All right. When a software is being developed, right, there is a requirement. Okay. And one question, who does the requirement? Who does the requirement? Who writes the requirement? Victor.
Yes, can you repeat?
So the requirement, right? I said in software testing,
Yeah.
right? We always test based on requirements. When development is going on, there's a requirement that will be written. And the question is like, who writes this requirement?
The BA.
Thank you so much. It's the BA. So the BA will write the requirement, right? So now the requirement is is used to develop the application, right? And the next question, which I'm going to pass to Ada, who develops the application? Oh,
The developer.
thank you so much. Now I'm moving to Adebayo now, right? After the developer has developed the application, right? So who now ensures that the requirement that is written by the business analyst, right, is the one that developer has used. In another way, right, the application, who ensures the application conforms with the requirement.
That's the QA.
Thank you. That's the quality assurance or software tester. Thank you so much. Now you can see how everything comes together, right? So now coming back to our board now, we have a requirement. Okay. Can we move to the right side of that board? Right. I just want one particular story that is maybe already done or keyword done, right? That we can use. Move it to the right, not down, to the right. To the keyword done part so that we can take that story. Right. Okay. All right. So let's see this in UAT. All right. Scroll up for me, please. Okay. So this one is talking about the footer for the mobile device. Okay. Let's open that story. Right. Okay. So now this is a requirement that is already written by the business analyst, right? Saying that for the footer in a mobile device of this application, this is how this application should work. And hold on, there's one Olusegun here. Which Olusegun is this? Is one of the interns? Because I know there's Olusegun in the advanced team as a mentor as well. Olusegun, are you an intern? Olusegun, are you with us?
Yes, apology. It's Olusegun in advance.
Okay,
I
all
thought
right. I know your voice now. Anyway, I just want to confirm. Okay, that's fine. So I know you're okay.
it was Harold holding this section. So,
No,
last week.
that's fine. That's fine. I just want to be sure that I'm carrying all the intents along, right? Do you
Okay.
get it now? So that if I don't call you, right, it just because you're not I don't want to call you, right? Yeah, okay, that's the point. I don't want to be sure that okay, I'm not leaving any of the intents behind anyway, but that's okay. So
All right.
now, so in this instance now, we have a story that or a requirement, right, of how the application should behave, which is written by the QA, by the BA rather. So the name of the BA right now is Chris, right? Chris, yeah, as you can see there, right? And it says that when you go to the page of Mentor Synergy website on a mobile device and you scroll to the footer, then the footer should be displayed. And on that footer, you should see the policy, privacy policy, right? In that. That is what the requirement says, right? So, so that is what the developer should develop, right? So now I'm coming back to one of the questions now that was asked yesterday, right? Which is now different level of testing, right? So who can tell us? Okay, I'm going to ask you guys to just maybe put in the chat or jump in or send it, maybe just call it out. Different level of testings that you know, right? So, and okay, just to give you an instance anyway, or an example so that you know what I'm talking about. One level of testing is unit testing, right? So what other level of testing do we have? What other levels of testing do we have? Let's go to Florence. All right. Then I'll move back to, I think, yeah.
Functional test.
Okay, functional testing. We're going to come back to that, okay? But functional testing is not one of the levels of testing, right? Okay, so we're going to come back to that. So I would say some people will call functional testing as types of testing because we have functional. Except from functional, what do we have, Florence? Functional or okay, any other person? Functional or what?
Functional.
Non-functional. Okay, so functional or non-functional, they're not part of the levels of testing, but because within the level of testing, you would be doing either functional or non-functional. Do you get it now? So I'm gonna come back to that later. We're gonna sort all these things out quickly and yeah, remove because what I'm seeing that is missing is the theory part being linked to the practical part. Do you get it now? There's no big issues. I know you guys know what you need to know, but just to kind of put all the jigsaw together and fit in the pieces. Okay. So now going back to the level of testing, right? So aside from unit test, which other testing do we have? Okay, Alex,
Integration testing.
integration testing. Thank you. Oh, Ada.
Regression testing.
Okay, all right. Hold that thought, okay, on the regression testing. So please remind me, let's put that in the chat. Okay, functional testing, non-functional testing, regression testing. So we're going to talk about that, okay? But regression is not part of level of testing. As I'm asking you guys this question, please open ChatGPT, put it, or do you get it now? Because we are going to be talking about this because when the program finishes, you should be able to kind of do some research on your by your own, right? But it would then make sense when you are reading them. Do you get it now? Because I'm going to be explaining them, making some practical examples. Okay, Ada?
I wanted to ask the functional, non-functional regression. What do you call those ones types of testing?
Okay, like I said, just put in the chat for me. I'm gonna come back to that. I don't want to mix them together. Do you get it now? I want to focus on the level of testing for now. Then we come back. Okay, if that's okay. All right.
All right,
I'll still speak about them. I don't want to forget. If I don't touch upon them today, let me know. But put it on the chat so that we don't forget. Okay. So, okay. All right. Level of testing. Okay. Which other level of testing do we have?
System testing.
System testing. Thank you. And which other one?
Compatibility.
I think compatibility is not one of them as well, to be honest. Yeah.
That's acceptance testing.
Thank you. Acceptance testing. Okay. So I'm going to put them together right now. Okay. So that we can see how everything fits together. So the first one, right, in terms of levels of testing is unit test, right? And we have integration testing, and then we have system testing, and we have acceptance testing. I would recommend, guys, this is important. I would recommend a book. I think, Rita, we normally send this book out, isn't it? The 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐄𝐓 book, right? For manual testing, right?
Yes, I'll send it to
Please,
their.
yeah. So please read it, right? And I can tell you, when I moved into testing, I read this book back to back, right? And sometimes when you read it, when I read it, where even though I was from development background, right? So some of them did not make sense until when I started to do testing in practical, right? But for you, you will have some aha moments, right? Because then you can see, oh, this is what I have done, but I didn't have the theoretical knowledge, but I didn't get the theoretical knowledge then. So please read the book, right? And most especially read the part of level of testing and read the part of test methodology, right? And also test approach, right? Read that part. And also read the test techniques part. And yeah, test. That one is very, very important because it will be talking about how you design your test cases and the likes anyway. So let's go back to, yeah, this level of testing. In that book also, you will see the level of testing as well anyway. So the first one is unit testing, right? So now, so let's now bring it back, yeah. So for this particular story, Futa mobile device, right? This is done by a developer, and the name of the developer is 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐄𝐂𝐓, right? So for Oge, right, Oge would design this story, right? Maybe with code or anything when she's trying to develop it, right? And before she passes it to the keyway, or before she says that it is dev done, she would have to do some level of testing, right? And one of those level of testing that she has to do is unit testing. Why did they call it unit testing? Because for this to happen, right, there will be a lot of unit of components that Oge needs to put together, right? So if you look at the wireframe, right? So if you scroll down on the wireframe for me, please, right? Onto the footer part, right? That this one is talking. Thank you so much. Yeah. For this story, because it's talking about the footer part, right? Okay. Okay, let's assume this is the footer part, right? So now, for this to work at the back, there might be a lot of codes, right? There will be code to even do the font, right? There will be code for the email so that when you click on the email, it goes. There will be code for the terms and condition. So it's not only going to be one code, right? It's going to be different function being put together. And for a tester, to be honest, we don't care about how many functions we write. Do you get it now? So, but for developer, they want to test each function, right? They want to test each component, right? So they will go into the code and they will be able to test it function by function, okay? When I talk about function, I mean the code function, the method they are writing, the classes of the method. They will be testing it one after the other. But for them to do this, they might also write some tests inside the code as well. So that when they come in tomorrow and they want to develop another thing, right? and they add another function to that particular function, they can run the test again to ensure that they've not broken anything. So at that point, what they are doing is unit test. So you don't do unit test in the front, right? You do unit test at the back end in the code. Now, the question now, which I'm going to ask you, who does unit testing?
The developer.
Thank you so much. Now we know that the developers are the one that do unit testing. Hope that is clear now. And I'm going to ask, why do they do it as well? Adebayo. And the next question is coming to Alex.
I believe is to confirm. Sorry, not confirm. Sorry, wrong word. It's also to validate what they're designing as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Alex, anything to add to that? Why do you think developers do unit testing?
They try to marry structure to function, like
Thank you so
structure to
much. That
function.
is brilliant. That's brilliant. Thank you so much. Florence, what do you think?
They try to catch the bugs in it early.
Oh, okay. All right. So I think you are one of my brothers in church, right? I like that word, catch the bug. Yeah, and since that day I've been calling the brother catching bugs. So what's the right word? Do we catch bug? Do we catch bug? I just want to kind of, yeah, any other person, what's the right word instead of catching bug?
Raise bug.
Okay, before you raise it, I think that's what Florence is saying. Before you raise it, right, you would do something right.
Find bug.
Thank you so much. You'll find the bug, right? So I just use of terminologies. Do you get it now? Because these are things that you say at interviews and they look at, do you get it now? And the person might not say anything because you've used the wrong terminology. Do you get it now? You use wrong terminology and you will not know, right? So even though catching bug is not technically wrong in a layman language, but you need to speak the technical term. Do you get it now? So if you put catch and find in English, right, in the dictionary, they will mean the same thing. But technically, it's not the right word for this one. Do you get it now? Hope that's clear. So yeah, I think you guys are good. Thank you so much for that. So yeah, so the developers would kind of test each unit of their component together before they bring them together. Do you get it now? Before they bring them together. So a good example, right, is when you are cooking jollof rice. All right. So who's a very good cook here? Right. What are different ways to cook jollof rice? What's the first thing on fire? Right. Let's talk about jollof rice now. All right. Nigerian jollof rice. Apologies to the Ghanaians. They are not here anyway. So pardon me, I might get the order wrong, right? But you get the gist anyway. So the first thing, maybe, let's say the first thing, you put water on the fire, right? So, and some people like to maybe put salt inside it, right? So before they put, okay. Or you want to do the sauce first, right? Let's assume that you are doing the sauce first, right? And what do you do to the sauce while you are doing it? You blend the pepper, right? You blend everything. And as you are blending it, you are ensuring that it's in the right measure, right? That in itself is unit testing. Do you get it now? Because you want to ensure I've got the right pepper, I've got the right tomato. Let's say for what's it called? What's the name of this Scotch bonnet, right? You put maybe 10 piece of what 10 piece of, let's say 1 piece of tomato, and 10 pieces of Scotch bonnet, right? Guys, what do you think about that? I'm very sure that Florence will like that. If you have a sauce that you have 1 tomato and 10 Scotch bonnets. Florence, what do you think? I can't hear you. Okay. I still can't hear you. Ada?
Sir,
Yeah. So if you're cooking jollof rice and you are doing the sauce, right? And you have 1 tomato and 10 Scotch bonnets. And what do you think is going to happen?
the tomato is not enough.
Tomato is not enough. But if you put them together and you kind of say, okay, yeah, there you go. What do you think?
If you put them together,
Yeah. And then you make it, you've not actually done your jollof rice, but this is what you have, right? What do you think is going to happen? By looking at that, what do you think is the result of that?
is it to blend them together, you
If you
mean?
blend them together, what do you expect to get in terms of the same
Color,
mixture?
it will be more red.
It will be more red. And in terms of, if you try to, let's say you
And
taste it,
to perceive it, the pepper.
thank you so much. At that particular time, are you tasting jollof rice?
No.
Exactly. So you are only tasting the ingredient you are using to prepare your jollof rice. This is not jollof rice there. But if you get that one wrong, you already get jollof rice wrong. Do you get it now? At that point, so this is the same way for unit test, right? They will test that a particular unit of the application. But the person that's going to, I'll come back to system testing, then you can see them together right now, right? So now, when you now get the right measure of tomato, the right measure of Scotch bonnet, and maybe you put different ingredients, yeah. And then you now put 1 cup of salt inside. What do you think is going to happen? Alex.
It will be too salty.
Thank you. It will be too salty. At that time, are you tasting jollof rice?
No.
Yeah. So you are still tasting ingredient of jollof rice. It's the component of jollof rice that you are putting together. At that particular time, if you look it in software setting, it's still unit testing, right? Because you are not testing the real application, you are testing unit of it. Do you get it now? So now, for the sake of time, we put all the ingredients together, right? And as they are putting it as a cook or as a chef, you'll be testing different level of those components, right? Different level of those components, you'll be testing them, right? So now, if you put 2 components together, right, and you test them together, what type of testing is that?
Integrated testing, I think.
Thank you so much, Alex. Now, we are moving to another level of integration testing now, right? Integration testing now is now when you now bring 2 components, right? And you bring them together to see how they're going to interface, right? A good example is like you brought the tomato, right? And you brought the pepper. The pepper is very, very red, and the tomato is orange, right? And you blend them together. You are looking for as Ada said, when you look at the face, you found that I'm expecting the color to be more orange than red. But if it's more red than orange, then oh, this is wrong. That is you integrating the 2 together, right? Right. So at that point, you are doing integration testing, right? And integration testing can be done from developer point of view and also from our own side, which is system testing. I will talk about that one later. Do you get it now? So now integration testing in terms of now putting the ingredient together, you can do that. And that is one of those things that we do. So at this level, right, and in terms of testing, right, there's another level that we normally talk about in this integration testing. So can someone just mention that part, right? There's a particular 3-letter word that we normally use, right, in this aspect, which is another part of testing, which is integration level, right? 3-letter word. Alex?
Is it UAT?
It's actually an acronym like that, but it's not UAT, right? It starts with A.
User acceptance testing.
A starts with A.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the next one is a P. A, P. And the next one is integration. What's that word?
API.
Thank you so
API
much.
before.
API. So API, right, is now when you brought all those interfaces together and you are trying to test, you are now bringing them together. We also do API testing. Do you get it now? Because API is at that level of integration testing as well. Do you get it now? So where each component, you are trying to test how they interact together. Do you get it now? When you send a request, you get a response back. And from there, do you get it now? So that is one level, right? So now moving back into our jollof fries workshop, do you get it now? So now we've understood what a developer does, right? If anyone doesn't understand now, yeah, please. You put all the curries and everything, you put everything together, and you make a very good jollof rice. Do you get it now? And now, let's say it's my wife that cooked jollof rice, and now I'm the tester. You know, Deji, jollof rice is ready, and I came with my tool and everything, selenium and test cases, requirements. Do you get? And okay, the question is like, what exactly is my requirement now? When they call on Tom to say, Deji, jollof rice is ready, set on the table. What is my requirement? What am I looking for? Guys, let's talk about what are we looking for. One,
Functionality.
okay, what are the functionalities? So what are the things that you are checking in terms of functionality? Yeah.
The taste of the jollof rice.
The taste of it. Thank you so much. Yeah. Then also, right? Any other thing?
The color, the texture,
Texture, the
down to the
color.
smell of it.
Thank you so much. I can see some people already tested jollof rice. So because if it tastes nice and it doesn't look nice, it's still not jollof rice. Right? If it tastes nice, looks nice, and it's mushy, right? It's watery, right? It's still not jollof rice. If it looks nice, tastes nice, but you look at it and say it is not presented nicely to you, it's still not jollof rice. Do you get it now? Everything has to be together. The same way with this particular story now. So now, when we have the jollof rice, we have a whole system in place. Do you get it now? So what we are now going to be doing is now system testing, because what they're asking us to test is jollof rice. Do you get it now? It's jollof rice. But now, do we eat jollof rice by itself? Or there's something that has to go with it? Guys, let's...
It depends how you want it.
Okay. Why do you say so?
I may decide to eat it alone, or I may decide to use something else to.
If you are poor. But if you are not poor, all right, and you are not humble, all right, what will you eat jollof rice with? Ada?
Some people would want veg or plantain.
Okay, no, don't even, let us not even go with excessive one, right? The first thing that you want on your jollof rice, at least something, is what? Even if you're not going for plantain, or there's something that even if you go for a party, You want, yeah, the serve jollof rice, you put it on top.
Meat.
Thank you. Right. At least if he hasn't got anything, right, you want to have a little piece of meat on top, right? Then, if you want to now be elaborate, yeah, of course, you go with plantain, you go with the veggies and everything. Now it becomes another whole system on itself. At that point, if you are now testing them and you are adding meat and you are adding veggies, you are also testing the plantain. What type of testing is that? Guys, what type of testing is that?
I think it should be system testing.
Thank you. But not really fully, right? I will tell you something, right? Plantain itself is a system because you also develop that as well. Do you get? Because that plantain was fried, was prepared, is a system, right? The meat was also kind of done, is a system, right? The jollof rice in itself is a system. So you are now bringing different systems together to become this wonderful jollof rice. But you still call them jollof rice anyway, because even you can't say jollof rice and meat or something like that. It's still jollof rice. And you are eating them or testing them together. There's a particular, yeah?
I'll go for acceptance
Not
test.
really. There's a two words together. System is part of it, right? And I've mentioned it before, right? So what you are doing now is what is called system integration testing. Can I have okay, I want to explain get that. So what you are getting now is the system integration testing. It's now how those two systems or three systems or more than one system integrate together. Do you get it now? A good example now, you have the footer, you have the menu, how do you integrate them together? Do you get it now? And now, I don't know whether it was Adebayo or Alex that said, yeah, it's still system testing. Of course, it's even in itself, we are only kind of being, we are technical in our description. We are saying system integration testing, right? But in itself also, it's still system testing. Do you get it now? We are only being specific to say, even though I am testing a system, right? But there are lots of components that also system in itself. Am I making sense?
Yeah, so does that
Yes.
mean we could say system integration testing and system testing are two levels of testing?
Yes, technically, you can say that if you want to be elaborate, right? And you can say that they are actually different level, right? Because you would assume that I have tested the plantain by itself as a system, it's working, right? I have tested the meat by itself, and I know the meat is good. I have tested the jollof rice by itself without the other one. I know it's good. Now, when I bring them together and I wash it down with a good Coca-Cola or Martina, how does it look? Do you get it now? Does it go
Yes.
down well?
Yeah. So in that order, I would say system testing comes before system integration testing.
That is very right, right? Because
Okay.
you cannot integrate them together if you have not tested them
Tested the
individually.
system.
Do you
Okay,
get
makes
it now?
sense.
Right. But however, if you are not elaborate, you can just say, yeah, even though there are different systems, all together, what have you eaten? Jollof rice. Do you get it now? If you say I'm doing system testing, you are not wrong as well. Because if they ask you, I went to a party, what did you eat in the party? You won't say I ate meat, I ate salad, you just say they gave us jollof rice. It's only when someone, it's only jollof rice they give you, oh, but there's a meat and everything, but everything jollof rice. You won't say, oh, I went to the party, they gave us Martina. The first thing that you talk about is the whole system together. That is why when we test, we say we are testing, we are doing system testing, but at the back, we might also be doing system integration testing as well. So in essence, there is a thin line between the system testing and system integration testing. Do you get it now? Because when you couple all of them together, they still become a system as well. Hope that's clear. Adebayo, I think I saw your hand up before. All right.
No, it's been answered.
Okay, cool. Okay. So all of them still become a system, right? So technically, you are still doing system testing. Now, if you go to mentor skid, right, and you would test them as a whole system, but eventually you can bring each of functions together and test them as one different system testing, right? And you can say, oh, login functionality is a system in itself because you can log in and that's it. And you can have an application that what it does is only logging in. And you can have an application that what it does is just bringing people together. And it's a system. And now we have an application that you don't even need to log in. Just bring the people together, let them see what they want to see, and that's it. So when Mentors Kids now decide to bring login, bringing people together, doing courses together, in itself as well, it's the whole system. So now you can see how system integration and system testing kind of meet together. Do you get it now? But bear in mind, this is totally different from integration testing. Right. Hope that is clear. Okay.
Yes, yes.
All right. So now let's move to acceptance testing. Okay. Question is, who does acceptance testing?
The BA.
I'll say the customer.
The customer, the BA, you are right. Okay. Who again?
Let's
And
start.
okay,
The
please.
It too, isn't it?
Sorry?
key is
The keywords as well. Yeah. So now, if you are preparing for ISTQB exam, right? And I'd advise, I think Rita has sent that particular textbook. Please read it, right? It's really going to make your life better. Everything that I'm telling you will make a lot of sense, actually. So maybe Rita, when is the next meeting? Because I'm really enjoying this anyway. It's been a long time I've kind of done this.
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Wow. Okay. On Wednesday, right, I'll try to see if I can join, but it's really not the best time for me. But let's say after 9:30, I can join. We can continue anyway. So, and so before that Wednesday, please read the book, right? So I'm going to open it. I'm going to give you a quick maybe assignment, which part you need to read. Okay. So, and it's a good book, I would say. Anyway, so as well, so what I was saying so is like when you go doing your exams, right? And these questions will be there, differentiation between that and all this different level, and who does different level of testing. Do you get it now? We know unit testing is done by developer. Integration testing could be done by developer or even the testers as well. Okay. So because we do API testing as well, which is part of integration testing, and also could be done by developers as well anyway, because they also couple different system in terms of integration together. So then we know that system testing is done by testers. And we also have system integration testing, which is basically in itself is a system testing, but we are also kind of trying to expatiate to say we are coupling different systems together to see how they work. Okay. So then user acceptance testing they will say is done by the business or a representative of the business. What does that mean? It means that BA, for instance, is part of the business or a rep of the business. Do you get it now? So in a sense, BA can do it. Or the business can employ a tester, and that's people that we call user acceptance tester. So technically, right, if you are employed as a system tester or user acceptance testing, the only thing that you'll be doing is manual testing, right? So that is what you will be doing, okay? So you can be employed as a unit test, or as a system tester, or as a user acceptance tester, rather. So that, any question? So because I'm going to move to another part of this now, okay? Any question on this? Okay, as we're on this particular story now, right? So if we are going to do unit system testing on this, right? What are we going to do? What do we need, right? That's a good question for someone. Ada?
This one is on UAT.
Okay.
So the user acceptance testing, is there a formal way of reporting it on the board? Because I know I asked one of the BAs that question, and they said it just to test it. Just go to the site and, and check it, that's all. And confirm everything is okay. That's what you have to do. So I was thinking maybe there is a special way
Okay.
to do
All right.
that, to report it on the board.
So now,
Because I never saw anything like that.
okay, that's fine. So for a system testing, system integration testing, user acceptance testing is the same way that you test it, right? Which we're going to talk about how do you do your testing, which you guys have done, but we're going to talk about it again anyway. So it's the same thing, it's the same way. Do you get it now? So the only difference is like I said, okay, let me come back. Who does user acceptance testing? Because that will explain what I'm about to say.
BA.
I mentioned, yeah,
The BAs.
but what did I mention? I said it's done by.
You said
Business
testers
representative.
do it too, and business rep.
Yeah,
They
it's
can
exactly.
hire testers to do it.
Exactly. So thank you so much. It's done by business or business representative, right? So if business is doing it, do you think they will be writing test cases? Do you think they'll be putting evidences? They won't do that, right? They'll just look at it. It looks okay. They will not. Some of the user testing that the business does, right? They might not even look at the requirement at all, because if you look at the fact that the requirement is done by them, they know what they're looking for, right? They will just go into the system and do what we will call exploratory testing. Do you get it now? And they
Okay.
will look at it and say, blah, 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 it's work, it doesn't work, it's fine. And that's it. And they will just, if they move the story, God helps you. Sometimes they don't even move the story. They will just send an email to you to say, oh, it's fine, clear. So they are not structured tester. Do you get it
Okay.
now? Second
Okay.
point,
So they just do exploratory.
exactly. But some of them might go a bit lower and they take that story and test it. But you don't expect them to do the same thing that you guys are doing. Do you get it now? Then the second thing I said, in some instances, they might also employ a tester to do a UAT for them. And if they do that, what would you expect? If it's a tester that's doing the UAT, Ada, what do we expect?
I don't know. Maybe a tester would want to show details.
Exactly. That is it. This tester would write test cases. This tester would run it, right? This tester will put evidence. You get it now? So that is the difference. So if you are being employed as a UAT tester, you would not technically just do it wishy-washy like a business is doing it. Do you get it now?
So how do we then report it?
No, what do you mean? What do you mean that how do you report it?
No, you said testers will show details.
Yeah,
So
okay.
start writing test cases and all that on it.
No. I mean, if they employed you as a UAT tester,
Mm.
you would do the same thing that you are doing as a system tester, right? The same way you would write your test cases. Do you get it now? And you know how to write test cases, right? You go to that story again, right? You write test cases again for that story, right? You would run your test cases, right? If there's a bug, you will raise the bug. If there's no bug, you will pass your story. I think we might also have to look at this again, but Rita and Harold have taken time to teach you this anyway. But yeah, maybe we'll just bring them together in this workshop anyway, if that's okay. So we're going to do that again next Wednesday anyway. So I'm going to finish
Thank you, sir.
this session by 11, if that's okay, so that next time we come in, we talk about manner testing. What are the techniques of manner testing? But before then, I would ask you to read the book one, Techniques of Manner Testing. So, okay, let me go to the part that I want you to read. Okay, I think there's a lot here. I think it should be chapter 4 of the book by my knowledge. So let me open it. Yeah, I think I still remember. So chapter 4 of that particular book, right, is around 50 pages, right? But the part that I want you to focus more is choosing test techniques, page 120. If you can put that down, right? It's okay to say I've read it, I don't understand, right? So I'm going to say first, category of test case design, which they've taught you like boundary value, equivalent partitioning. How do you apply it? Because that is your test design. That is what you first need to do, right? So that is the first thing that we're going to talk about, right? So I would say that you should read from page 80 of that book. And if you can finish it up to page 120, that's like 40 pages. But if you can screen me, yeah, I would say one thing that you can do, download the copy, right? There's some app, right, that allows you to listen, right? You can plug it in, right? Just listen to that chapter 4, right? I think within 1 hour, you'll be able to do it. Just listen, right? So even if you don't get it, it's fine. It's okay. Just listening, right? Can I get a confirmation that we're going to do that before next Wednesday? Let's raise our hand. Don't forget. Who's the...
What's the name of the book, please?
Yeah, the book has been sent. You check on the Telegram, which is... The name of the book is Software Testing and 𝐖𝐈𝐓𝐇 Foundation Guide. Is the foundation guide if you are doing the 𝐖𝐈𝐓𝐇 exam, right? I think the book is almost like how many pages? It's a lot of it. To be honest, it's got, if you have time, I would advise that you read the book. It's really, really good, actually, right? But I've given you some part that you would need anyway. So, and it's good for interviews, right? If you really want to be successful at interviews, because it's talking about what testing does, what is testing, even things that I've explained in this meeting right now, you will get it. You might not get it with me bring it home, like in time of jollof rice, do you get it now? But it's really simple book to read, to be honest. And yeah, So even the psychology of testing, fundamental test process and everything. So you're going to understand it from there, if that's okay. Then, yeah. So on that book, I said you should listen to chapter 4, right? It's from on page 74. Okay. So now, quickly, for the half an hour that I have, right, I'm going to kind of cover this now based on what you guys have done, right, without having to cover what we're going to do next one, which is test design, right? So now, we've talked about level of testing, right? So some people are talking about functional testing and non-functional testing, right? So, and then, okay, the question is like, if I said that is not level of testing, what exactly are these? Does anyone know? It's okay if you get it wrong. Sometimes I don't even get it right every time as well, anyway. So I'm going to
I think there are types of testing rather than levels.
thank you so much. There are types of testing. And so, and on that book, I'm going to send you a screenshot of this anyway. So if you go to that book, page 49, right, also is also there. And to be honest, please read the book, right? I can, yeah, I think this book was sent earlier. Rita, am I right? And
I must have sent it,
yeah,
but because I'm not the one that took the manual class,
okay,
I can't be so sure.
okay.
I can go back in the chat and see.
All right. So that's fine, but please read the book now. Right, read the book, right? It's really, really, it's got a wealth of knowledge there. So, and yeah, so functional testing and non-functional testing, there are test types. Do you get it now? So, but to be honest, if you ask me tomorrow that mention test types, I might also forget them, right? So it's not like, yeah, I don't remember what test types are. To be honest, they are all theory. So the major thing is for you to know what is functional testing, what is non-functional testing. Do you get it now? So, and that is very, very important. But I know that it is not level of testing. And also don't mix them together, right? To say when you're talking about unit testing, system testing, you are not now putting functional testing there. You know how to categorize them in different sections. You might mix them up to say which one is level of testing, which one is type of testing. That I think for that one is okay. But you know them in different categories, right? You know, like how do you might not know that these are vegetables or these are fruits, right? But you don't put fruit and vegetables together. Do you get it now? So that's what I'm trying to say anyway. But you might get them to say, okay, yeah, which one is really fruit, which one is vegetable? But you know that, yeah, these two are together. Do you get it now? So please ensure that you kind of, yeah, read that section. So, and the test types is on page 47, right? So now let's talk about them quickly, right? We have functional testing, right? So can someone explain what a functional testing is and what is a functional testing? If you open that book, okay, on page 49, right? Anyone?
It's testing of the software functionality against the requirement.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So basically, it's testing the functionality as the name implies. It's exactly what it says on the tin, right? So it's testing the functionality of that particular system, right, based on the requirement. And to be honest, I think it might not be technically based on requirements because we do some functional testing that are not based on requirements. Can someone support me by that? Do that make sense? And if you think that makes sense, why? Anyone or any of the senior guys, yeah, back me up on that. And I said that, yeah, it is possible for you. I think, yeah, is that the bio that said now that, okay, which I was trying to echo, right? The
Yeah, exploratory testing, right?
Thank you so much, Adebayo. Yeah, that's what I'm expecting. Yeah. So functional testing, right? Exploratory testing.
Sorry, sir. Please, I was cut out.
Okay. All right. So what we are discussing is functional testing, right?
Okay.
Someone said functional testing is testing of requirement of the functionality based on requirement, which is right, but it's not completely right, even though I have also echoed it. Do you get it? And I realized, no, I think there's some caveat to that, right? Because you can do functional testing and you don't base it on requirements. When you do that, example of that is when you're doing exploratory testing. When you're doing exploratory testing, you don't have a requirement to base it on. You are only clicking around. Do you get now? You don't have knowledge of the requirement, but you are still doing functional testing. Do you get it now? So technically, you don't need a requirement for you to do functional testing. Do you get it now? The major thing is you are looking at the specific functionality of a particular system. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. So, and then now we can now divide functional testing into different parts, right? So I think that takes me to what I'm talking about. You have specification-based testing, right? What is specification-based testing? Specification-based testing. Guys,
No
guys.
problem.
All right. As it says on the tin, sometimes you just use your what specification-based testing? Okay, I'm going to call Florence and Alex. What
I
specification?
I think it relates to my previous answer because you're testing with respect to the specifications, like the spec of the products.
Thank you. Thank you. And that's the right answer, to be honest. It's based on the specification, right? And now we know that that is one part of functional test, right? So, and which other type of functional testing do we have? Which other part? Now we're talking about functional testing now, okay, as one type of testing, okay?
Can we add integration testing to that?
No. Now, integration testing is what?
It's a level of testing, but
Thank you. So
if
don't
you're
mix them up.
testing functionality, I'm just
Yeah, don't mix them up, right? Because
okay. Okay.
integration testing, you can also do functional testing as part of that. Do you get it now? Is the level, right? Unit testing has got functional testing. Do you get it now? Integration testing has got functional testing. Do you get it now?
Are you saying they're under functional testing?
So is
Maybe
the
types of
level
functional
of
testing, unit testing, integration, is that what you're saying?
okay, now let's go back to our jollof rice. Do you get it now? Our jollof rice, I said, what type of testing are you going to do, right? When you are testing, someone said, I'm going to test the sweetness of the test of the food. I'm going to test uh the color of the food, right? I'm going to test the whether it is hard, it is soft, it is, do you get it now? All those could be part of the requirement or the is functional. But at that point, we are doing system testing because we've coupled everything together and we're doing system testing. Do you get it now? So, and maybe I should move quickly to another type of testing, which is non-functional. Do you get it now? Maybe that would make sense. Non-functional is when you are testing something that is not part of the function, the core function of the application. Do you get it now? So example, can someone give me an example of this, right? When we are doing non-functional testing, right?
Something like maybe load
Okay.
or stress test.
All right, cool. That is brilliant. That is brilliant. So that is, yeah. So when you are testing the behavior aspect of that particular system, do you get it now? Now, this is maybe like £100 question now. In jollof rice, how can you do non-functional testing? Hmm? In jollof rice, how can we do non-functional testing? Or have you done non-functional testing of the jollof rice?
No idea.
No idea. I bet most of us have. So, for instance, we have a requirement of jollof rice. Jollof rice should be red or is it orange? I think, yeah, I know the kids of UK will call it orange rice. So yeah, it has to be orange. It has to taste nice. Do you get it now? It has to do this. Do you get it now? Yeah. So all these are the core requirements of jollof rice. Right. For instance, if you have jollof rice that is similar to, for instance, it's the jollof rice anyway, but you know the Chinese rice, right? That you can use chopstick, right? It's so meshed together, right? But in itself is a jollof rice. Or jollof rice that's so hard that you can throw into the wall and bounce back. Do you get it now? And you take jollof rice in your hand. Yeah. A good example, maybe you guys have done this type of testing to bread, right? You go to bread shop to go and buy bread in Nigeria, agege bread. How do you test it?
The
You press
software.
it.
You press it, but you are not testing the functionality. It doesn't say that, yeah, even though, you know, if you press it, right, it doesn't mean that that bread is not good because it can still taste nice. But what you are trying to do is the performance of the bread. Do you get is the usability of that bread? Do you get it now? That this bread is so soft. Do you get it now? But it's still bread, even though if it's soft, because what you're talking about is like how soft is it? When I press it hard, do you get it now? Even some people will even press it to the extent that it will be very, very tiny, and then you let it go, right? And you expect it to come back up, right? But that is not the requirement of the bread. Do you get it now? But what you are doing is basically like a performance testing of that bread. If I press it, if I stress this test, this particular bread, can it come back to where it is? Do you get my point now?
Yes.
So in itself now, we have two types of testing now that we've mentioned now. Functional, right, which is the core part of the application, right? The second one is a non-functional, which is the behavioral part of the system, right? So example is ability, performance, stress, and this, etc. Right. Okay. All right. So and in terms of in terms of the types of testing, some people also mention structural testing and the other. So, but the major one, to be honest, I would say is functional or non-functional testing anyway. So if that is fine. Okay. All right. Any question on this?
He said we should remind you of regression.
Okay. All right, cool. I'm going to talk about that right now in terms of structural testing. Okay. So okay. So when you talk about structural testing, you are talking about even how the system okay, let me so I don't confuse you because within structural testing, you can have functional testing. That's how everything mixed together anyway. But basically, the structural aspect of the system you want to test. And we know that within that structure of that system, it's bound to change, right? For instance, the developers that are developing this particular story, right? The footer will have actually have. Can you go back to that? What's it called? The diagram again, right? The wireframe, please. Victor.
Is it the
Yeah. Go back to
wireframe?
yeah, the footer. Yeah, that one. Then if you scroll down on the right.
Okay.
Yeah, then click on the wireframe. Or you can expand that one as you did before. Yeah. Okay. So for instance, now this person that is developing this, right? Scroll up a little, right? Scroll up a little. Up. You are going down. Up. Okay, all right. Yeah, yeah, that's fine. So now, this particular story is only for the footer. Can I get confirmation, right? It's only for the footer, right? It is not related to the header or the logo, and it's not related to what we are seeing right now. Does that make sense? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, cool. So now, but before then, the developer or developer might have done the logo, right? The header and this one. And you might have even tested it, right? And it's fine, right? And then developer moved into the footer, right? And you do the footer and it's fine, right? So the issue with this now, let's go into okay, let's go into our jollof rice again and do retesting. Right. So you finish your jollof rice, right? And then you say, Deji, come and taste the jollof rice. And then what happens, like, that is a system testing. I'm testing the functionality of the testing, right? And then you called me, and by the way, I think I have explained this before. It's coming back to me, actually. I have explained it before. So, but I'm going to explain it again anyway. So, you tested the jollof rice, and I found that, wow, there is not enough salt in there. So, the question is like, what would you do if I said there's not enough salt?
You add more salt.
You add more salt. So, if you add more salt, would it now say, okay, it's ready, and let's give the guest? Would you do that?
You test it.
Thank you. What you are doing now, what's that called?
Regression.
No,
Retest.
retest.
Okay.
So that is when you are testing a bug that you found before and you are ensuring that it is fixed.
Mhm.
Do you get it now?
Mhm.
I've tested the jollof rice. Oh, salt is not enough. Let me even say that the salt was too much. Do you get it now? Was terrible. Ada, what will you do?
Where's the bug?
No, as in, yeah, you are the chef, right?
Yeah.
You gave the jollof rice to me, and I said, the other one that I said salt is there's not enough salt. You can add salt. That one is easy fix. Do you get now? But if I say there is too much salt, but of course you cannot take salt away, right?
You look for a way to fix it.
Ow, that's the one. Do you get it now?
Add more rice.
Thank you so much. You can add more rice or
Or more tomatoes. Like that.
tomatoes or then. So let's go with Adebayo. Adebayo, why are you the one that spoke now?
Alex.
Alex, okay, yeah, sorry. So Alex said add more rice. And as a developer, Alex now brought a Congo of rice and put inside, right? And I tested it, and the only thing that I complain about is the salt. Do you get it now? That the salt is much. So if you call me again, Ada, what will you tell me?
Sorry, what did you say?
So now I've tested it before, and I told you, and I said, Ada, oh, there's too much salt. And you called Adebayo, and you said, Adebayo, there's too much salt in this jollof rice. Do you get it now? And then Adebayo said, oh, I'm going to add more rice. Adebayo add more rice. When you call me back to say, DG, come and test, what are you going to tell me? That what do I need to test?
If the salt is still much.
Exactly. Thank you so much. You will tell me that, DG, now can you test if there's enough or the salt is to taste, right? So if I test it, I am testing for salt. Do you get it now? If I only test for salt, right? What am I doing?
It's unit
Unit
testing.
test.
No. It's not unit test because
Unit
I
test.
cannot take the salt by itself. Do you get it? What I am testing is the jollof rice. But what I am testing in the jollof rice is the feature, and the feature is it's got enough salt. Initially, it hasn't got enough salt. I tested jollof rice. I didn't taste water. Do you get it now? And I did not taste the sauce. I tested the jollof rice itself. So basically, it's not unit test. It's the whole system I'm testing again. Do you get it now? Can I get a confirmation? Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So now I'm testing jollof rice, but the feature I am testing there is the salt. But it has got a lot of salt before. Now I'm testing that it's got enough salt. What type of testing is that? Is too much salt. Now you fix it and you ask me to test it again. What's that? We said it before now.
Retest.
Retesting. Now this is where it becomes interesting, right? If I only test the jollof rice that it's got enough salt, have I done enough? And I said, yeah, it's got enough salt. It's fine. Is that right?
Yes, if it's fine, you say it's fine, isn't it?
Okay. So it's fine. It's got enough salt, and we can serve it to everybody. Does everyone agree with Alex that Alex is okay? We can hire Alex as our event planner, or we should sack him. That is,
Jollof rice chef.
yeah. So does anyone? Yeah. Do you think it's fine that I only tested the jollof rice and I know that it is fine. There's no salt is okay. Okay, let's go back. When I was testing the old jollof rice, was that only testing salt? What else did I test?
The texture, the color.
Thank you so much. Now, Adebayo only added rice, right? He didn't add the, what's it called? He didn't add the tomato again to make sure it is, do you get it now? He only added rice and water to neutralize the salt. and I've tasted it that, yeah, it's no more salty. But is it tasting nice? Can you guys get it right?
Yeah, the color will be different now. They just
Exactly. So is the color still right? Is this taste still right? Is this texture still right? Because I've tested that before and it's fine. But now, because he has added more rice. But now, do I need to test only salt? No, I need to do other testing as well. So if I do that, which type of testing am I doing to ensure that what was okay before is still okay? What type of testing is that?
Regression.
Thank you. That's the word, regression. It
Okay,
just
see the little confusion I'm having. It's regre
I didn't
re,
get
regression testing. It said to be done when changes have been made
exactly.
after system testing. Yeah, but this change we're talking about, it's not like a new component was introduced. We're trying to restore it to status quo.
Indeed, there's a new change. You've added rice. Do you get it now? You've tickled with what was working before. It's not necessarily when you add a new component completely. Let's say you now say,
Okay.
oh, so there's no enough salt. There was not time in the rice before. Let's now bring time. Do you get it now? It's not that. Do you get it now? Even the fact that you've now added more water, right? You want to ensure that, yeah, the rice is still fine. Do you get the point? So
Yes.
if we look,
Initially I thought it's when there's a new component being introduced, that's what we call it regression, like something entirely different is being added to the setup. That's what I thought.
yeah. So that is okay. Now let's look at this again, right? If I said there's no enough salt in the rice, right? In the jollof rice, and we added more rice, right? And I tasted it, right? The rice, and they said it's enough salt. Do I need to test the plantain?
no,
Do I need to test the meat?
no.
Do you get that? So you need to isolate the part that you think the change has affected. Do you get it now? It's not that you
Yes, yes,
bring the
yes.
whole system together and say, oh, now we've changed it, something has changed. I need to retest everything. So you need to know the part that the change has affected and test that particular part. Do you get it now?
Yes.
So for instance, you can say the footer is broken and they fix the footer, and you now say, I want to test the registration again to ensure that it's fine. There's nothing concerned footer with registration. Do you get it now?
Yes.
Okay. Hope that is clear. So, okay. On that note, I know some people now will be looking for jollof rice to eat because I've talked about jollof rice a lot. Actually, I think I should leave you guys so that you can- any question before we hope this is clear in terms of level of testing, types of testing, and the difference between retesting and regression. And one thing I
Okay,
can add,
sorry, sir. Please, I didn't get where the regression testing
okay,
lies under.
so
The
one,
under function.
I mentioned something, right? So if you are looking to say that this is level of testing, this is type of testing, this is techniques in testing, you might get yourself uh into a rabbit hole. Do you get it now? The major thing is to know what is like for like. Do you get it now? So when you're talking about the issue that when you're talking about unit testing, you are not putting regression or retesting there because they don't belong together. So you need to know the grouping. Do you get it now? For instance, when you are talking about unit test, system test, the next one should be acceptance testing and integration testing. They work together. So now that group is called level of testing. Do you get it now? And I said, if you don't remember that level of testing, but know that this is the grouping. Now, when we are talking about the types of testing, right? You might not remember them. You might think that unit testing and system testing, but that's fine. Sometimes even the senior people like us also get it wrong, okay? But one thing that you will not do is to not say functional testing and you now bring system testing as part of that. They don't belong together, even though they are related. They are not the same category. Do you get it now? So in types of testing, you have functional testing and you have non-functional testing. And then you have structural testing, these three together. Because structural testing is actually related to the structure of the application, which is subject to change, to be honest, because when you are developing, you are going to be changing lots of things. And then under that structural testing, they put some testing that you need to do, right, as you are doing your testing, right? Even within the system testing as well, right, or within functional testing as well, you'll be doing regression testing and you'll also be doing retesting, right? But whether regression testing or retesting, they don't fall into those big brackets at the top. Do you get it now? Does that make sense?
So they're on their own.
Exactly. So you can actually put them as a floating object because within functional testing, you will do regression, you will do retesting. Do you get it now? Within system testing, you will do regression, you will do retesting. Within unit testing, you will do regression, you will do unit testing. Do you get it now? So the people are talking about retesting and regression when they're talking testing relating to changes, when you're talking about defects. Do you get it now? For instance, we are now mentioning, oh, where does defect fall into, right? Do you get it now? Which type of that is that? Do you get it now? No. Do you get it? So whether you are doing system testing, there's defect. Whether you are doing functional testing, there are defects. Whether you are doing unit testing, there are defects. Whether you are doing non-functional testing, there are defects. Do you get it now?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So bringing them together, you can see that you've actually really covered everything, but it's just like in your head, there's this kind of something that you're still not being able to fit them together. And I'm very sure that you might still not able to fit them together until you start to put your hand upon this and you are using that terminology every time. Do you get it now? And you are saying that I am not doing my regression testing. I am not doing my retesting. And I can tell you, even there's one, what's it called, CTO in my office. He will say, "TG, we are doing regression testing now." So sometimes my head will blow, right, and say, man, this is not regression that we are doing. But so people just mix the word together. Even when they're talking about testing, they're talking about even you have, because for instance, you cannot talk about regression testing if you have not actually done the testing before. Do you get it now? Because in essence, regression means establishing that nothing has regressed, nothing has changed to the downward spiral. Do you get it now? That is regression. But if you are doing your first testing and someone is saying that, DG, can you come and do regression testing on this application? But what I've not tested it before. Why am I doing regression? Do you get it now? You only do regression on something that has failed and you are testing it again to ensure that what has passed before has not failed. Do you get it now? But if it's a new one, right, completely, right, you've not actually tested an application. Do you get it now? But people, because when you move to end of the sprint, you want to retest everything together, and they constantly talk about regression testing. It becomes part of that. They forgot that everything is not regression testing. Do you get it now? So, but you need to be in there, start using the terminology, right? Being there. That's why I would advise all of you guys to join advanced. As you are learning that, you are in that system, that you are mentioning what you should mention, right? And people are correcting you. You are in there. So, and things will become clearer as you go along. Anyway, yeah. Okay. Let's catch up again on Wednesday, right? Hopefully we can then move into the next one, which is test techniques. Okay. All right. Hopefully it's been useful. Thank you so much, Rita, for recording for us. And thanks for even all the senior guys for coming in to support me on this one. So,
Thank you, sir.
all right.
Thank you, sir. God bless.
Okay.
Thank you very much.